Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. We are just gonna chill and vibe for like 90-ish minutes. I'm gonna be working on my Forge Fiends, just trying to get ready for LVO. I feel like I've been panicking for like a week as to what I'm gonna bring to LVO, and I'm starting to feel pretty good about where we're at with what my list is. I'll share it in a bit once more people show up, but we're feeling good. I think I almost dropped my second Forge Fiend, and I'm feeling like it's probably worth keeping. Also, I've been painting my Forge Fiends for like 3 days, so I'm really hoping that it's not a bad decision to have painted them for 3 days. But my main concern, I think, with the Forge Fiends and wanting to keep them was they went up 20 points, but in my opinion, I feel like they probably should have been that high costed anyway, so it's probably not that big a deal to go up 40 points total for these guys. The other thing is just like if I drop them, I can sort of start to fit more stuff, but it's just sort of like you're teching for other matches as opposed to protecting to yourself for like the general meta. And my general idea is that since this is a list for LVO, that I really just kind of want to have an all-comers list, even though it might be better to like have more Exalted 8-bound in certain matchups. Like if I go into like a big like high toughness skew, if I like run into a bunch of greater demons, I feel like to have 3 slaughterbounds and 3 Exalted 8-bound is just sort of like a checkmate into that matchup. But then, if I then go into Custodes 3 times, to not have 2 Forge Fiends, I think is ultimately going to burn me. So I don't really know. So I'm pretty satisfied with just kind of deciding that I had a good idea for a list like a week ago. I don't know if really anything is changing that. I've heard arguments for like Forge Fiends dead now, but I just think that a lot of times people like on YouTube are just having hot takes, and I don't know if I like necessarily feel like listening to those hot takes where people are just like, oh yeah, Forge Fiend dead, it's all about combat now. It's like, yeah, except then you run into, you know, an army that can like outtrade you or stand back, and sure, you're sticky on objectives helps, but like, is that enough? And are they smart enough to know that? So then they'll just put some cheap chaff unit on the objective and then shoot you with a different unit, and then they'll just lose to deny you primary, lose like a 65 point unit, and then just not care at all. So to then just rely entirely on just melee, I feel like just doesn't work, because then you're going to want to have something to be able to stand back and then shoot that thing, which I think just works. But I don't know. I have some reservations, but I think I'm just going to stick with the original plan and just kind of be happy with it. I own the 2 Forge Fiends already. I bought them to chase the meta before, so I might as well go hit an event with these 2 Forge Fiends. And if I regret it, I regret it. But I just think into like a Custodes match, I'm just gonna want to have it. I don't know why I wouldn't want to have 3 D3 +1 plus blast shot count in hitting on 4s into the closest eligible target, re-rolling, which smart players really know how to game. But even still, even if you just get 50% hit rate on all those dice, it's still good. So I'm not inclined really to be talked out of running at least 1. And I think 2 sort of create some problems for your opponents that they really have to deal with. And then could potentially make them overreach and overextend to get into your Forge Fiends, which then means if your opponent is overreaching, overextending, you've got, you know, you've got Exalted 8-bound, you've got 8-bound, you've got Berserkers and a Rhino that pop out 3 and then pop Advance and Charge and move 8 plus an average of 3.5 plus the Disembark, which is 11. So you're moving 14.5 before the charge out of the Rhino. So it's like you really, World Eaters really punish armies when they want to overreach. And I think Forge Fiends a little bit might help create that. Kind of like that forced overreach. Spawn are also really good at creating that forced overreach, and I'm running 3 units of Spawn, which, again, might be a little bit overkill. But I don't know. I could potentially drop... Lists aren't due for this event that I'm running on Sunday. Lists aren't even due until 7 p.m. tonight, so I have more time to kind of overthink this and make a bad decision. But I'm thinking that potentially I could, since I have 3 Spawn and 2 Jackals in my list, I could drop the Spawn and the Jackals, and that gives me 155 points, which would give me enough points, I think, for... That would give me enough points for... It'd be a weird list, because I think I would be under by like 10 or 15. But I could get a 3rd Exalted 8-bound if I did that, which is interesting. Because I'm wondering a little bit if my list is lacking just a small amount of teeth. Because I played... I think it was yesterday and this morning, I played into my brother's Plague Legion, which has like 2 Great Unclean Ones, and it has 2 Great Unclean Ones and 1 Rodigus. And that list, I feel like I had the tools to deal with it, because the Forge... And he had like 2 War Dogs. One of my Forge Fiends took out his War Dog pretty handedly. I think the issue is once I spend the 2 Exalted 8-bound bricks to take out the 2 Great Unclean Ones, then I don't really have an answer for Rodigus, other than just popping Fight on Death and then charging like my whole army at it. And then maybe doing... I think -1 damage is for a squad, not for the attacking unit, so that doesn't really help. But I could charge everything with Fight on Death up, and then plan on the interrupt, and then lose like half of a squad, or all of a squad that I can then fight with. Seems like kind of an okay strat to deal with that. But if I run into Knights too, which is like they still exist, is that correct? I mean, also the other argument too is like Strength 8, AP 2 or 3, 2 damage is still like a pretty real profile. So if I'm worried about like Custodes, I'm really just kind of worried about like Deathwing Knights. Because what Deathwing Knights can do is they can turn all of those attacks into damage 1, which really sort of neuters the 8-bound units. You could take out like 1 Deathwing with Karn and the boys, but it just really sucks to throw Karn and the boys into a Deathwing unit. Like, hopefully you can do that from a position of like relative safety. But I don't know, maybe my list does have too much trash. But into like elves and stuff, just being able to continually throw trash forward and like making them commit real stuff is pretty, can be serious. Like they're really uninteractive, and it's probably helpful to just be able to continually throw Spawn at them. Because Spawn, oh my god, they tear through elves. But it's like, I don't know. It's not like guaranteed when you hit on 4s. And then if you want them to hit on 3s, you need to send up a 8-bound unit and then hide that 8-bound unit somewhere that won't be able to be interacted with on the following turn. So you can get the 6-inch aura to make them hit on 3s instead of hitting on 4s into non-monster, non-vehicle. which I'm pretty sure is how that rule is written. I gotta look that up actually before I go to LVO and like just totally F that up. But I think the regular 8-bound rule is non-monster, not vehicle, not necessarily infantry. I think the only thing that's like infantry locked is the devastating wounds buff. But the more I see people doing the math on that, the more I sort of feel like sustained lethal is like the way to go most of the time if you can afford the two. If you're going into like thick stuff, if you can afford both of those damage buffs. I have Favorite of Khorne in my list to try to get some consistency on that, which I am all about. Well, welcome to the stream, guys. We're just kind of chatting about my LVO list and painting some Forge Fiends today for about an hour and a half-ish. So that's what we're up to. If you want to chat about your list, if you want to chat about what you're painting, feel free to jump in the chat. But yeah, I just can't quite decide if my list has enough teeth, but it is World Eaters. I do have 3 squads of... Oh, that's true. I do have 3. I'm pretty sure in this list I have 3 squads of regular 8-bound. I could maybe just swap one of those. That's really tempting. Duplicate. Okay, I'm 10 over. I'm 10 over because I tried to turn a jackal into a slaughterbound. Can we see this on the camera? Here we go. Yeah, I tried to turn a jackal into a slaughterbound. So, right in this list, we've got 3 exalted, 2 regular. I don't know. I don't know if that's any better. And I could turn this spawn. An 80-point unit would be... We're kind of on Jackal again at that point, I feel like. But what does that look like? If I delete... Maybe the original idea is good. My only concern is that, like, I feel like I don't need more 8-bound. Like, if I've got Karn, I've got Berserkers, I've got the Forge Fiends, I necessarily don't need more 8-bound. What I need are things that can deal with T12, I think, which would be more exalted. So let's drop the 3rd slaughterbound, pick back up Favorite of Khorne. Yeah, let's just go back to the original idea for a minute, and we'll meditate on this. It seems fine. We'll meditate on that while we paint. Because the Forge Fiends are S10, and so are... This just like a lot of Strength 10. I almost wonder if I'm over-committing into Strength 10. It is possible that I am. Because I could pretty cleanly swap... I think I can cleanly swap. Or maybe I would have to swap 1 spawn for Goremonger or something to cleanly swap the 8-bound for Exalted 8-bound. I don't know. I do sort of feel like I'm at the stage in my list writing to where I fully just overthought this whole thing and I'm just spiraling. I think one clean swap that I could do... Ooh, this is interesting too. I could just swap 1 spawn for Slaughterbound and then swap 1 regular 8-bound for Exalted 8-bound. And then, like, worst case scenario, the thing about regular 8-bound is they're still strength 8. So they're basically like regular 8-bound, but without the +1 to hit. which is like impactful for sure, but I don't know if it like changes the game totally. So maybe I just, that's really interesting actually. Maybe I swap, let's look at that real fast. I know it's a painting stream, but it's also kind of an LVO strategy stream, so. If we swap, let's duplicate this slaughterbound, drop the glaive on the duplication, then drop this spawn, and then drop this 8-bound, and pick up this exalted 8-bound. That puts me at 1990? Why do I have an error? Is the favorite corn on twice or something? Oh, it is. Oh no, that puts me at an even 2K. Oh. Huh. This might be better. Actually, I straight up just think this is better. It's going to be a lot more painting. Do I even have... I might be short a exalted. I don't know. All right, we'll meditate on how I actually can hobby through that with one day remaining. Maybe I pause on these Forge Fiends for a second and we build a slaughterbound just so we're not panicking. Let's go grab a slaughterbound real fast. And I do technically own a bunch of 8-bound on sprue. Let me just check to make sure my audio is coming through. Audio check, audio check. Audio check, audio check. Yeah, we're good. Money. Cool. So let's build a slaughterbound real fast. That seems like a good use of time. Because I think I'm probably just going to bring 3. And we're going to drop these spawn. And then we won't have as much trash and we'll have options. This seems cool. All right, where's my clippers? All right, can we see the assembly table? Maybe we bring this down a little bit. Lefty Lucy. There we go. Cool. Okay. Boom. So we'll have 3 slaughterbounds in this list, which seems cool. And then if I'm bringing 2 Forge Fiends, I have the damage 10 on lock. If I have 2 8-bound, yeah, this seems legit. I haven't yet played it, but... And then I also will have, if the list is super wide, I could just make a bunch of missiles out of all these slaughterbounds. And I still don't have enough characters to make fixed worth it. So I think we're okay with this strat. Yeah, I was panicking, but now I feel like I'm not. Because I didn't really change my list all that much. I swapped... Ooh, I should get a different head, so I don't have to have 2 custody heads, guys. I also want to, like, kit bash this somehow, but I don't have, like... And I guess I could look to see if I have some cooler bits in my bits bin. Oh, there's also a second head, so I could make him look, like, a little bit different. Indy, leave it. Dougie go bark. Alright, I'm just cutting out the feet here. And then I don't know where my razor blades are, so we're going to just have to use this super dull razor blade to get these nubs off. I feel like I'm just going to cut this custody thing off, because I just don't... I mean, I guess I could cover it in, like, sludge. But let's just... yeah, we could just cut... I'll just cut it down, maybe. Go. Cleaning that piece up. Cleaning this piece up. Bzzzt. Make sure my phone's not visible. I guess it's just part of the model. It looks weird. It's kind of annoying that this kit does not have like a lot of variants to it. Like, dude, they gave us one model like to expand our range in 10th edition, which is wild because there just is not, the range is so small already. But you'd think there would be like a couple of options in here to be like, oh, like this looks like this and da 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 da. But yeah, who's to say? I don't know. I don't know what to say. I feel like I'm just exhausted by complaining about Games Workshop. I'm trying to think of like what bits I have of a bloodthirster that I could put onto this guy without making him like way bigger than his normal silhouette would be, because like at the end of the day I want my stuff to look cool, but I also don't want to like put myself at like a competitive disadvantage because I made a cool kit bash. But most normal players who can have conversations with human beings are like cool about like, hey man, like I put a giant axe on here, obviously like don't draw a line of sight to that giant axe. But a zero personality sweat would definitely just be like, bull, well I could see it, duh. But I do also understand their point of like, you know, it would be, it's like hard for me to like then estimate where would the true line of sight be, so I do a little bit see both sides. Alright, let's start gluing this together. Where's my glue at? I just saw it. There it is. Alright, so number 1 is 4 and 5, which is this and this. Pretty sure, yes, it's this. foot. I need a foot somewhere. Where's the foot? Here's the foot. Job of the foot. Alright, so we've got the Exalted here. He's got his foot. Or not Exalted. I was thinking in my head, I was like, how do I build... I gotta build some more Exalted now. I like hope I'm not overextending myself by swapping my list this soon, but... I think this new list maybe gives me more tools to deal with stuff. And like still gives me like the width I need into other kind of like less engagey armies that just kind of want to like ticky-tack you and not play the game. All right, I think we put this on first. There we go. And if this stream is at all entertaining to you guys, hit the like button. I want to make some more friends. I want to talk about Warhammer with y'all. And it just helps a little bit. Oh, there it is. I was like, that is not going on well. I do really want to swap out, in particular, just this arm, because I feel like it would be cool to just find like a possessed arm or just something that's like a little bit different to just make him just look a little bit different. Because really, it's just going to be like a legit copy-paste of this dude, and I just feel like that's so boring. I can give him like the other face, but I think that's the only customizable option in this kit, which is pretty silly. Oh, I guess there's this thing too. You don't have to put that like cross thing on his head, which I guess I can do that option too to make them look different. And then this one can be like my favorite of corn because he has the corn symbol or something. Maybe. I can't remember if when I built this last, I think I wanted to maybe not keep the backpack on. I wonder if there's a way to assemble him. Yeah, maybe not. I think I'm just going to have to attach it again. Because it'd be cool if you could attach the backpack and these little like blood things to like one piece and then paint the body and then attach the backpack. But I think if I wanted to sub-assemble this, I would actually have to do all of these little blood vial things individually, which just doesn't seem worth it at all. Does not seem remotely worth it. Okay, so we're done with page 1. Let's swap it over. Grab this piece. Yeah, it would be cool. I kind of want to do like a weapon swap on him, just so I can have this one be my Berserker Glaive one, and this one can be my Icon of Corn, and then my third one will just be Useless Guy, who just goes in and goes Super Saiyan. Belt thing on. Oh yeah. Nice. And if anybody's in the chat who is painting or prepping for LVO or just in general for their lives, let me know what you're working on. I'm curious. What do we do now? The back goes on. This is a weird piece. if it's like that. I guess you just hit like part of his butt with the glue. Zoink, 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 zoink. I think that does it. Nice. What I sort of want to do is just go grab another box of Possessed. But I don't have any like credit or anything. Because that would solve my Exalted problem. I would just grab a box of Possessed and convert them. I do have the kit to build the Exalted 8-bound. I just like haven't been doing that. I could also potentially break the arms. I don't know if that's worth it. That's probably more work than it's worth. I could like break some of my regular 8-bound and just change their arms out. That's probably not worth it. This late in the game is probably not worth it. Alright, let's do the face without the mask. And then you need number 12, right? And then not the corn symbol, we'll do this. And then legit, I might just go get my bit spin to see what other thing we can do to put on this guy to make the Berserker Glaive. Because it is just boring to just make two of these guys exactly the same. Curious, what do I have that could be a Berserker Glaive? I'm sure there's like I could also just build him regular and then try to find like a piece of the Bloodthirster weapon to like put on the base as basing, and then it's like clear to my opponent that that's the one that has the Berserker Glaive. But there's also maybe a cool way to do it where he actually holds it. Alright, how does it want me to do this? There's like a neck piece that I don't have out yet. Oh, here it is. Bringing the third Exalted 8-bound also gives me a second rapid ingress target, which is kind of interesting. Because I want to start one on the table to just prevent somebody from shoving something in my face. Nice. And then the hair goes on after? I guess it was supposed to go on first, but whatever. I'm sure it will still fit. There's like a little nubbins. Alright, got it. Nice, okay. So we've got the head put together. Let's get him put in. I almost wonder if this is... Yeah, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice. Okay. Let's glue that. It'd be cool if you could do a shirtless variant of this, like with the regular 8-bound. That would be really rad. But it be what it be. Alright, we're making some progress here. We can focus here. There we go. Yeah, we're making some progress. Alright, how does this go on? This goes on now. Do we need to get any nubbins off of it? I'm not seeing any nubbins. I think I maybe already got it. Looks like the glue goes here-ish. And there we go. So for anybody just joining, we are getting ready for LVO. I have a tournament tomorrow, which I think it might be a tall order for me to get this 2 colors on this guy, but really I could just prime him red and then maybe do his skin with the airbrush. But we're kind of calling it audible at the last second, but I think it's probably, I think it makes sense. I'm trying to stay confident with my decision here. All right, maybe we wait to attach this arm. I just don't want to. I guess I could always chop it off, like chop it off at the hand, and just try to convert it after with some green stuff. So maybe we just commit to like the regular build of this guy, and then after I go through my bit spin, we can like start chopping him apart again and using super glue and green stuff to like sculpt him into something else. But I think we just build him WYSIWYG for the moment. I mean, what? No, not WYSIWYG, but like just as per GW has ordained, and then we'll make some changes later. Trying to figure out like a cool way to make this guy have the Berserker Glaive. But I think really it might just be cool to find something in my bit spin to just go on the base. Because then it's like no one's going to draw a line of sight to like a little bit that you put on your base. Yeah, well, Shane, thanks. Shane Roth, thanks for the sub. Welcome to the stream. What are you up to? I'm like a little bit regretting gluing this in, but I think that ultimately it probably will create a better place to kind of sculpt and green stuff from if I ultimately change my mind in a bit. I think it's fine. The copium is setting in. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. All right, chest piece, and then the possessed arm go on now. That sub might have pushed us over the edge to get to 3,100 subs. I don't know. Is that true? Yeah, I think so. It says 3.1. Nice, we did it. 3,100. All right, let's get this chest piece attached. Oh, that was easier than I thought. I thought I was gonna have to like squeeze it in there. It's like a lot of like overlapping, underlapping pieces there. Ooh, I could also paint this guy in Heresy colors. That would be kind of cool. That might help him stand out. So that did that go on first? Yeah, and then the arm comes on after. Okay. That goes like that. Yeah. And then if I wanted to, there's actually a good point, like after those little thingies, I could cut this off and then figure out a different thing for the glaive after. I think this will work. But I honestly, the main issue with all of this is that I'm coming up against, the main enemy is not my opponent, it is time. I just do not have infinite time to prep this army. So I sort of just need to start pulling the trigger on stuff and just going. Okay, what are we missing now? Just all the little blood things and then the backpack? Nice. Seeing some likes rolling on the stream. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. That gives me dopamine. Okay, so I think it wants me to put on the blood backpack things first. So I think I have to do this like a little bit slowish, just so I'm not accidentally cutting these things out too fast and then not putting them in the right spot, because they're like basically identical. So number 18 goes top left. I'll cut that one out first. Get off the nubbins. And then we'll just do a little bit of glue. Get it up here. Where is it? Down? Does it go? Where does it go? Does it go into that piece? This is not clear. They've gotten a lot better with their instructions, but they are still not. They are far from perfect. Where is this supposed to touch him? Oh, I see. I see. That is a little bit more obvious than I thought. Oopsie. Alright, so we'll rotate, right? And then set it down. Is that in? No. Almost. What in the world? This is so close, but it feels slightly precarious. Just jab a little bit more glue in there. Yeah, that's fine. Good enough. Okay, number 19 now. Right cha. So the one guy, I should put this guy in frame so we can... Look, I did do it. I painted one. 2 more to go. I also submitted for a proxy approval for LVO, and they have not got back to me yet, which is pretty irritating. But I'm sure they're busy. I just can't imagine that they won't approve my proxy because, dude, last time I was at LVO, people just had like 3D prints and a bunch of nonsense. And I just kind of was like, what is this? Because I remember last January, I like just trying so hard to get my stuff WYSIWYG and perfect, and I brought like rules printouts for my opponents, and like I brought tokens for all my drones. I was playing Tau at the time, and I was like, oh, I have everything to be like a good opponent, and then just people just had like 3D prints and a bunch of nonsense, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's just kind of the Wild West, huh? I guess it's only really an issue if like your opponent like tattles on you for like not having WYSIWYG things, which is like not. I feel like once you get into that scenario, when someone's just like, well, I would have won, except he wasn't WYSIWYG, so actually you should disqualify his win. Like, when you're at tournaments, you can sometimes meet people like that, and that's awful. And I don't want to have that happen to me. So I'm just going to protect my ass from the worst people on Earth. Ah! Pushing too hard. Okay. All right, now we're on to number 21. It's going to be the next top corner. And welcome to the stream, guys. Seen a lot of people coming in and out. We are getting ready for LVO, kind of chatting my strategy a little bit for World Eaters, but also definitely open to chat about whatever. If you guys have questions about like theory or just want to share what you're working on, let me know. I want to know. pretty sure this goes right there. There. And my glue is drying really fast for some reason. I'm being too slow. But I don't want to like mess up my dude. Okay. Okay, then 22 is next. 22. Okay, got the nubbins cleaned. Let's get this here. The only downside to my list now is that I have to like actually think in the character attachment step, like what is the best strategy? I gotta like figure that out immediately at the table at the tournament as I'm like attaching characters. I gotta be like, okay, what? How many wounds does that have? What does this do? And do just a bunch of pregame math. All right, last blood pack, and then I think I might just not put the backpack on because I remembered it was a little bit annoying to paint. I'll like assemble the backpack, but I'll probably prime it separate. Excuse me. And then just glue it on after. Or like, maybe I could sticky tack it on. That might be a solution. And that way I don't have to prime anything separate, but then when I want to paint it, I can just pull it off. That's a little bit what I did with the backpack for the Demon Prince. Okay, so that part is done. That contact does not feel perfect. I don't want to like over glue this, like slop a bunch of liquid on here and just melt the model, but I need this to stick. It's like slipping and sliding now. Come on, attach. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's good and good enough. Okay, let's assemble the backpack real fast. And then we'll be done with this step. And then I think to be frank, I think I'm actually going to call the stream because I need to go get my bits bin. I gotta go get a haircut. I got a lot of stuff I gotta do. I gotta go to dinner tonight. We got a lot going on. So let's finish assembling this guy. But I wanted to jump on because I didn't have a chance. I was sick earlier this week. I didn't have a chance to jump on. I want to stream at least once a week for y'all. And I was already at my hobby table working on this stuff. Figured I'd just turn the setup on. Say what up. Okay, that is that part. Let's get the nubbin. Sorry. I had to say lager. But welcome to the stream. I mean, if I lived in a vacuum, and I didn't have other things going on today, I really need to just be sitting here for like 30 hours straight to finish all of this stuff. I don't know if I have that kind of time. I just don't have that kind of time. But I'll be back. I'm going to LVO on Thursday. Model is out of it. Which one? I think I will do one more I'll be done assembling stuff like today. So the stream that I do on next week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, kind of depending on what my schedule's looking like. Probably like an early to midweek stream, because I'm going to leave for LVO on Thursday. And then I also might try to... Oh, my camera's like freaking out too. I think. I might try to do some uploads and stuff from LVO. I don't think it's reasonable to try to stream. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. My stream is very chill, which is counter to my name, which I think is kind of funny. I find that funny. Okay. Yeah, maybe this won't stick on super easy. We need less sticky tack. Because I do sort of need it to sit flush, otherwise the priming is just not gonna work. Oh, that's way better. Okay, just needed less. Do we want to put him on the base? I think we're gonna wait, because it's very possible that I find something really crazy. It's been like a Bloodthirster axe or something that I'll want to use as basing, and that'll be my basing. But thanks everybody for stopping by. If you liked the stream, hit the like button. If you want to come back and see some more content later this week, hit the subscribe button. We'll be making some more live streams for sure, and then I'll have some edited content probably by the end of the year. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.